Hello and welcome, or welcome back to Endemic Times. My name is Zamira. Well, surprise, surprise, the pandemic, lockdowns, and school closures have had a very serious effect on our nation's children, furthering the divides between the races and classes even more. Before we continue, hit that like button or dislike button, subscribe if you're not yet, and hit that notification bell for when I have new videos coming out. Now let's get into this story. For the first time since 2019, the National Assessment of Education Progress administered its national test, and it's the first nationally representative study of the pandemic's impact on learning. Sparing no state or region, the COVID 19 pandemic caused historic setbacks for America's children, erasing decades of academic progress and widening racial disparities. Math scores, in particular, saw the deepest declines, with the largest decreases ever. Reading scores have dropped to 1992 levels. Nearly 4 in 10 eighth graders failed to grasp basic math concepts, and not a single state saw a notable improvement in their average test scores. When the NAEP sees a 1 or 2 point decline, it's a significant impact. In math, the 8 point decline is historic for this assessment. Sadly, a 10 point gain or drop is seen as an equivalent to roughly a year of learning. So, this means that our kids have essentially lost a year's worth of education in the last 2 years as we continue to deal with the effects of this pandemic. Eighth graders' math scores were among the worst, with 38% earning scores below basic, which is worse than 2019 when 31% of eighth graders scored below that level. No region was spared during the pandemic. Declines have occurred across the board in at least one subject. Cleveland saw the largest single drop, falling 16 points in fourth grade reading and a 15-point decline in fourth grade math. Sadly, this data is revealing even more disparities between those students that are high achievers versus those that are struggling. The lowest performing students' scores fell most sharply, which is widening the gap between those students that are struggling and the rest of their peers, which is a really big deal. This means that as those students move through the education system, they are going to have a harder time keeping up with their peers and ultimately their ability to compete in the marketplace. It's not to say that higher education is the most important thing or a guarantee for financial stability. Just ask us millennials. But the crucial part here is the connection between struggling students and the criminal justice system. Students who take longer to master reading are more likely to drop out and end up in our criminal justice system, a system that we know is harsh, cruel, and predatory to these very kinds of people that struggle and fall through the cracks of our already disjointed and imbalanced education system. And when it comes to the remote learning aspect, those students that were higher performing were those that had reliable access to quiet spaces, computers, and help from teachers. While this wasn't covered in the article, it can be deduced that those students in more affluent economic classes that have access to so much more than their struggling peers are going to benefit from this dynamic as more and more of their peers are essentially weeded out, lessening the competition for those high achievers, thus widening the gap even more. Accessibility, financial stability, and conducive environments for learning is something that we saw in the news during the pandemic, with many low-income kids struggling to get Wi-Fi access, having a place to study, and the ability to stay focused. And not every child does well with remote learning, and every child learns differently. These test scores, while not the be-all, end-all, are a key indicator of what the next generation is going to be dealing with. It's a further sign of the many changes that we need to make to our educational institutions, ensuring proper access for students, having reliable technology, but also we need to be having the discussion on not making every aspect of learning contingent on one's ability to have technology. In my personal opinion and observation of my own family members with kids, teaching them using computers, especially for things like math, is not working for them. There are a lot of gaps in our education system, and the one-size-fits-all approach of our public education system is something that must be reviewed and changed. I don't know about you, but these constant videos of young adults being interviewed and asked basic math, history, and geography questions with answers that just kind of make you facepalm show that our education system was already bad pre-COVID. So post-COVID is just further exposing the already broken system. So let me know down in the comments below what you think of this. Do you think that we should have a major overhaul of our education system? What do you think will be the best way for us to move forward? As always, thank you so much for watching. Please hit that like button, subscribe, and also hit the notification bell for when I have new videos coming out. And just remember to stay safe, take care, and be kind to each other.